得到他的爱，你努力啊努力。哎，我跟你说，他跑得更快。
Today's piece is a part of my art that I'm making for a children's book portfolio. So the theme of jobs is the thing that I picked, which I will include firefighters, teachers, farmers, and more job titles. In this piece, I decided to go with the firefighters job title. So as many of you know, right now in BC there has been many fires happening in the lower mainland. Last time I heard that Kelowna, Caribou, and Vernon have all been in very dangerous situations, and I feel terrible that these fires are out of control and people have to evacuate their homes or lose their lives. So this recently happened like the week before, and our houses have been very smoky. Well, even if I'm not living in that area, the weather condition outside has been terrible in Canada, BC. And I just thought that this piece that I did kind of relates to that as well. So I haven't originally came up with the idea of firefighters because of the wildfires, so that's why these are stores on fire and not BC wildfires. But I think in the future it would be more relevant if I made another piece that's related to that. As for the stylistic choice of this piece, I was inspired by the book Fireworks by Matthew Burgess and pictures of Katia Chen. So this book has won the Caldecott Award, I believe. Yes, it has. And also, it's a great piece of children's book literature because it's inspired by many of color schemes, and it has a lot of different themes related to family and like who you are inside. You should definitely take a read. I bought it at Kids Books recently, and there's one piece in this story that I was really inspired by, which was when the glow of the fireworks, which really inspired me for this piece when I tried to make the glow of the fire captured from the buildings. So if you look at my speed paint, you'll notice that you need to start from light to dark. So whenever you're painting watercolor, always leave the piece of white that you want white. And that way it makes it look like it's like a natural leftover part of the paper. And then you also need to make sure that watercolor dries a little bit lighter than originally. So you have to make sure you add in a little darker so that the contrast is good, and you don't want to make it so that it kind of waters down the image as well. And I think you've done a good job when you can squint your eyes and look at the piece and you can still see the contrast in between. And I think that really did for this piece, and I like the details I added with the watercolor pencils later. As a general thing, like firefighters, let's just say, is one of the most heroic careers. I personally think these, usually men, but sometimes also women, get to bond over like shared traumas of fires, and also they're willing to jump into the fire to rescue some stranger and to stop the fire from spreading to other parts of the country. It's not just like, oh, there's a fire, guess we'll look the other way. It's like really jumping in and being courageous, and it's such a career. Like, it's so sacrificial and physically and emotionally draining, but it's also very labor intensive. So I do think, like, at a times where you see these huge, like, crazy fires happening, like, these firefighters risk their lives and then they kind of just die on the job sometimes. But yeah, they should be given more credit for their work. And on back to this piece, I really liked how it turned out. I enjoyed the different textures in the images. I also added like color pencils on top, so to give it a different textural feeling and to add more detail. But if I were to critique it, I would say I would put more thought into the design of the buildings, because they're all on fire, right? And it's nighttime, it's kind of hard to see. I think it would be cool to like really picture a place and think about how and why it would be set on fire. Maybe, like I said at the beginning of the video, I would do more drawings of BC wildfires so that it relates to current events instead of some like fiction fairy tale setting, and that would probably make it more meaningful. Yeah, so just if you want, like no pressure at all to support BC wildfires, there's a BC wildfire recovery fund. I'll link in the description below. This is not sponsored or anything. I just thought that since this is happening, it would be good karma to like help out people and to support others. Yeah. Alright, so on a side note, this has nothing to do with my piece. But I've been obsessed with a new album. So the new album I've been listening to is Petal by Ariana Grande. I really love her song Petal. It's very disturbing, the music video, but I just didn't look at the music video at the end because it was very crazy. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but basically there's a lot of blood, and the concept of it was good though. It's like the idea that she has to fit and contour and change herself to be the person that everyone wants her to be, and then still she gets rejected and rejected and rejected until the very end she just can't take it anymore and kills people. Now I wouldn't say go into the extreme like that, and I think it's like a metaphor maybe to like give up or like just not give whatever. I'm not gonna say the word, but like don't care what other people say. And so she's truly exploring that new side of herself. Also, the other songs of the album are more soft, raw, kind of vintage style. I kind of like how her voice is not so like loud and higher octave. Like she's going more lower octave, which is kind of nice. But it's just like, yeah, the songs I've been playing on repeat because it's like very relaxing to hear. And it also has good beats, although it has mixed reviews online, but I'm like, I personally like it. And one book I've been reading that's on my list is called The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. So recently I've been thinking about how people die. Yeah, I know it's morbid, but you'll see that eventually we will all move on from this current body into some new universe, if you believe in like another place, or go to the earth, like ground soil, and just pass on as a creature. But the idea that we have this certain amount of time left in life and what we're really choosing to do with our time, that concept has been kind of on my mind for a while. And it's just like, what do you use your money for? Like, you spend all these years working. You earn a significant amount of money. And then do you spend it all? Like, do you live paycheck to paycheck? Which I would never. But, or do you go travel the world with your paycheck? Or do you invest in the future, but you don't know? You don't know if there's a future because you never know. And it's like the idea that health and family, yeah, great. But people usually overlook those in terms of making money, more money. And then they make the more money and they realize that, hey, all this life I haven't really had any friends or family to share it with. Like, isn't that sad? So I've recently been thinking, you know, don't be a stupid rich person who only spends money on things just to spend it to prove to others. That's not what we want. I think to be able to be more secure in yourself, you need to know who you are first, what you're worth, and use money as a tool to buy and build happiness and wealth for the things that truly matter to you. So your health, obviously, because if you don't have health, what are you doing? Like, there's no point in making money if you don't have health. And you can't do anything if you don't have health. So health, number 1. Family and friends, number 2, and then your hobbies and interests, number 3. I think that would make a great life. Like, you don't even need that fancy, like, Cartier bag or whatever, or you don't need that, like, unless you love cars, which I don't love cars, so I wouldn't spend money on a million
当你很渴
bucks
望得到他的
for
爱，你努
cars.
力啊
Like
努力，哎，我
no.
跟你说，他跑得
But
更快，
if I were to buy like my
是不是这
favorite
样？
art
同一颗同
supplies
意两个
though, that I would spend. Or I would travel the world. That would probably be what I spend it on. And then paint along the way, building a brand, a business with all of you artists out there. And then we could all paint and draw. That would be amazing. Yeah, anyways, just thoughts about what is going on in my life right now. Balance is key to a happy life. The more I'm learning, the more I realize it's not okay to just work, work, work. Sometimes you gotta relax, chill out, so you can work better. Just like, when you're painting, you don't go for the darkest dark, right away, right? You don't go for the blacks immediately. There's shades of gray in there. And also, if you just go for the blacks, how do you know if the shadows? The shadows are blue, the shadows are brown, the shadows are purple. There's green. Like, you gotta look closer to find those shades to make the painting richer. Just like your life isn't black and white. So I've been recently thinking about that and just some ramblings of mine. Okay, anyways, hope you enjoyed my little chat with you all and the painting. And thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!